Hakim, just letting you know, this is like just the disclaimer that I'm going to be super fidgety and I don't know.
It's fine.
Yes. I am Manny Hazarika. I'm an artist, actor, illustrator, animator. Basically, throw me anything into art, I'll try to figure it out. So that's mostly me. I would like to say I'm an artist more than specify that I'm a graphic designer or something, because art is a big term and a lot of things can come inside it, and I would like to try out all those things. I've said this before, like in other interviews and podcasts as well, that once when I was really young, I had a dream of wanting to be an astronaut. So I had this dream where I'd like go to Saturn, and it's going to be so cool, and I'll probably like spray paint on the rings of Saturn, and it was just like a perfect dream. And I started becoming like super obsessed with outer space and everything. But many years later, I realized that all I wanted to do was go out and spray paint on the rings of Saturn, which is basically still me being an artist. Yeah. So I realized that no, I actually just want to be an artist. So that's the only dream I've ever had. Never really chased anything else. So that's why I think I was born with it. My mom is a fashion designer actually. So she's also been into the creative field all her life. She was an amazing hockey player, like a state level hockey player. She was into fashion designing. She's still into fashion designing. And I have also always been into art, I think, through that sense. And even if not, because my dad was a doctor, even though like he passed away when I was really young, I just feel like I personally was kind of molded in a way where this is the only thing I've always wanted. I feel like you keep going through phases in your life, and right now whatever I might be saying in this interview might totally contradict what I say in like 5 years from now. But right now, at this very moment when I'm sitting with you guys, I am Annie Hazarika, and I used to not be this person a few years back. I was in school, and I love my school. I was in Maria's public school, and I feel like it's probably one of the best things that have happened to me being in that school. Like, it's changed me as a person. But towards the later half of me being in class 7, 8 and 9, those years have been super toxic for me, because that's around the time when you get into peer pressure and you start realizing all these other people are doing all these things. And I never thought that I'd be one of those people who'd get into peer pressure, but now when I look back and certain things I did, I feel like that is not me, that I was not supposed to be doing that, but I don't understand why I did that. And obviously, if I have to talk about maths, which was like a nightmare for me, I had this whole transformation phase. Like, there's always this one thing that you hear in like interviews, that moment when realization hits you. So my moment when realization hit me was when I was doing horribly bad at maths, and I was into all these other co-curricular activities. So I was into sports, I was into drama, I was into art, I was into dance, I was doing debates, I was doing MUNs. So every time you go inside my classroom, I used to never be there, and I'd be everywhere else but my classroom. And my class teacher was the maths teacher. So like luck favored me, and then I flunked maths horribly, and like everyone started saying things. But my mom was super chill, and we had to do a retest. We had to give a retest, and that retest phase stood. You have a 15 days study time. So in those 15 days, I did maths almost 12 to 14 hours a day. So I used to wake up, have breakfast, sit down and do maths. My teacher would come, he'd teach me, and I would just keep doing maths. So 15 days, 12 hours a day. I can't do the math, somebody else do the math, how many hours that is. But 3 days before I was supposed to go and give my exams, I started having cold feet. I was wearing 3 layers of socks, and my feet are still frozen cold. My nose started bleeding because I was so nervous. And I feel like that's my thing with maths. Like, it's not just I'm afraid of it and I can't do it. I'm genuine phobia, you know. Like every time you give me numbers, even if you're asking me to dial numbers, I'm gonna mess it up. I'm just too scared when it comes to numbers, you know. So I got like super messed up in my head. I could not concentrate on anything. Then I went to give the exams and my nose was bleeding and there's like blood on my mark sheet. And I gave the exam somehow. Then I passed. I passed it like decent amount of marks, you know, around 65 or something like that. I don't remember. But my mom went to take my papers and like, you know, talk to the principal. And she was like, I saw my daughter struggle so much that in class 10, if she has to do maths like this, and she's just scoring like 60% or something, it's not worth it. Like it's not, maths is not worth losing my daughter over. And so she talked to the principal and said that, you know, I want to take her out because I don't want to kill my child. I don't want to turn her into a vegetable. And if she's doing 12 hours maths per day, then when is she going to make art? And everyone, like the whole world, the whole school knows that she's not going to grow up to be a mathematician. She's just going to grow up to be an artist. So as like with a heavy heart, I have to take her out of Maria's and put her into homeschooling. So she did not come back home for like 6 hours, 7 hours, and I was freaking out. I was in the washroom crying my eyes out because like, oh my fail, this is over. And all my friends are texting me and I'm just like switched off my phone and I was freaking out. Then she comes back home and she tells me, what if I tell you instead of maths, you can do art? And I'm like, an ideal world does not exist. She's like, yeah, what if I tell you it does? Then I'm like, can you please get to the point? I'm already really heartbroken. Then she tells me, sorry. Then she told me that, so this thing happened. You passed with good marks, but I just don't want your creativity to end. So I want you to homeschool, because in homeschooling, you get to choose art as a subject instead of maths, so you don't have to do maths. And for the first 3-4 days or a week, I was like, I messed up, I'm a faulty girl, I'm not smart enough, everything is a lie. But you know, now when I look back and coming back full circle to the question, who I am, that was the moment that changed me. Because had I not started homeschooling, had I still been there in that school for another year, I wouldn't have been this person. And it's not that the school was wrong. The school was perfect and our principal was the best principal one could possibly have. But it's the pressure that was on me. And that entire break, that 1 year break, my art went from here to here. Like if you look through my Instagram or my work, you can see the change. So yeah, that is probably one thing that made me who I am right now. So yeah. This was an artwork which was inspired by my nosebleed actually.
Okay.
And this was from like a Pinterest idea or something, not a very original idea. But I think I added the nosebleed because this was right after my Maths ka exam.
Okay.
So I was just trying to, you know, draw something which represented the whole trauma of my nosebleed. I love this artwork. I have this printed in a t-shirt as well, which I was planning to wear today, which I didn't. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Harry Potter. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
This is also 2016. That back then I did not start digital art. So this was just me trying to make like a very detailed watercolor. And I feel like the denim is done well, but like these hands are very scratchy. It's not good enough, but the denim is done well, I guess. It's 2016. I was doing pen and ink back then. Very, you need a lot of patience for this. This is so bad. This is for women empowerment. Doesn't mean anything. It's just a random bunch of faces. But yeah, I was trying to draw women. Random shit. I really love this artwork. This was, so my mama, he's a filmmaker, my uncle, Shashank Borbarua, he's an amazing filmmaker. So he took this picture and I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw this image and it was so beautiful, the way like Ohomia household, that are Gawar Ohomia household. You know, you have these bamboo chairs and there is a bota outside, and you get this perspective, you know, the mati lipa ghorborot. It's dark, and then in the kitchen there is probably a soka and there is this red color vibes coming, and I fell in love with that picture and I was like, I need to draw this. So I took his photo as a reference and I made this, and yeah, I really like this. And I feel like those are the small things which inspired me to draw things about where I come from. So this artwork is very different than half the things that you just went through, because those things are so Western and drawing an American girl kind of things, but instantly as you come to this page you get this feeling of home, you know. And that's when those are the moments when I started realizing what actually matters is where you come from. So that's why I feel like this artwork is special. There is sadness in his eyes. I watched all the things about Van Gogh, I guess, like, I mean, I wouldn't say all of them, but yeah, it's just always an inspiration. That's why I made this shirt, Almond Blossom, because this is like one of my favorite paintings by Van Gogh. So I just made this myself. It's like hand painted. I don't think it's the best, but I made this because I just love his work so much. These are, I think, back from when I was practicing still life, and it's really bad. Don't even look at these things. Oh my god, so bad. So bad. Who's even living in that house? Perspective. I feel like you need to know a little bit of the basics, you know, because I mean, I understand that the whole thing with perspective was what Picasso tried to do was he saw things in perspective, and then he tried his best to break the law and started making everything out of perspective. And that's why towards the later half of his years, you know, all the artworks became so abstract, because there is no such thing as perspective. But then again, I feel like certain things you need to know, like color theory. Like if you don't know the basics of color theory, your artwork will not look good, and you'll keep wondering, I did everything, the artwork is perfect, it's just not coming out. But if you have the basic knowledge of color theory and you're using the right colors, then it just makes your job easier, you know. So knowing some of the basic fundamentals make your work easier, and then if you want to break some rules intentionally, you can try it out, I guess. This was me trying to come up with my character initially, and yeah, Daponda helped me a lot with this whole thing, trying to come up with my comic. But then again, I never posted all this, and it's changed so much from what I post right now on Instagram. But yeah, he helped me a lot through this whole process. This is one of my favorite artworks, which is at the back of my jacket right now. Yeah, that is mostly it in here, this one. I didn't finish it off yet. I always say, you know, promote local artists. That's like the best thing you can do. We have this amazing stickers coming from homegrown companies, you know. What else do you need? Why do we need to buy from other people when we have such good talent right in our backyards, man? As much as I want to get back to, you know, sketching on my drawing copy, I just feel like the iPad makes things so much more easier, you know. It's just like, it's more easy to carry around, and like with a sketchbook, I'll have to carry pens and pencils and an eraser and all these things, and if I want to color something, I'll have to like carry my entire set of colors as well. But the iPad makes things way more easier. But then again, it comes back to another thing of, you know, having that feel of an artwork in a sketchbook. That also feels good. But right now I'm at a phase in my life where I'm preferring to use the iPad. So we'll see what happens again 5 years down the line. Oh, I didn't know this was here. The big event that Gap had, you know, and this was by Vaibhav sir. My god, this is an honor. Then we have Gap ka stamp here. We have an artwork of Daponda. This is the first time I met him actually. So this is so nice. And yeah, we have a bunch of stuff. Then we have an artwork from Mona. She's an amazing artist. Miss Bonoa. yeah, it's just amazing. This whole memory of that event is one of the best, and getting the chance to meet Vaibhav sir was also so great. He's such a fun person. Aru nahi sahi hai. Aru, most of the work is on the iPad, and this is just the one I'm using currently, a love letter from someone who gifted me. Yate Wasar ko love letter. Then, yeah, this is, I think, probably where my comics are at right now, with the short hair and everything. In my bio, I have written Lefty, Lefty, which is me being a lefty. I'm a left-handed person. One person on my DMs randomly goes like, why do people have to give their political opinions on their bio as well? I'm not a leftist. I'm just saying that I'm a left-handed person. So, you know, you can write anything and people will come up with something to bash you up with. And I just didn't even have a reply for that, because all I'm saying is that I write with my left hand too. But, you know, whatever you write, there is going to be one person who has something wrong to say, one person who has something right to say. Oh, social media is a scary place.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a very scary place. I don't raise my voice about certain things because I have some opinions which a lot of people might not agree to, and I've realized that the best thing you can do is just keep shut about it, maybe. Or, you know, you can make art, but, you know, there's this whole dilemma because social media can genuinely ruin someone's life at this point. It's not a joke anymore. So you really need to filter out your thoughts, whether you're talking about your own life or you're bashing other people up, which is also a wrong thing to do. If you have an opinion, think about it in your own head. Do you have valid points to counter that agreement, or to, like, you know, live up to your agreement? It comes with age, it comes with understanding. Good things, bad things are all subjective. But, like, you just have to focus in your own life and understand where you want to be, who you really are. And I feel like, you know, that will make you sorted enough. If you start seeking validation in other people, and if you start caring about what people around you are saying all the time, then you're going to start doing all these things when, you know, you're trying to live up to the social media hype, where you're trying to do everything that everyone else is doing. So you just do your own thing. Coming back to this same thing, tell your own stories, do your own thing, and you'll not be a bully, hopefully, if you do that. Until unless you are, then I can't say anything. Then you are a bully.